Over the past 7 years, I've helped people navigate the digital minimalism space. And in that time, I've counted 5 recurring forces that keep most people from truly being ready for the offline life. And I hope that as you listen to this podcast today, that a few of these resonate and encourage you to start shaping the life you actually want, rather than the one big tech has trained you to accept. And I say train you to accept because they created a proper environment to make us dependent, even though we can always opt out and make our life more fulfilling. Anyways, let's get started with the first reason. Our first reason is the fog of unclear priorities. It's what happens when many people enter into the dumb phone world with the general desire for something simpler, but they have not defined what simplicity means for their own life. And I want you to really think about it. What does simplicity mean for you? There are so many different people in the world with so many different experiences and contexts. Simplicity cannot mean the same thing when you live in a city, when you have kids, or maybe you don't, or you live in a rural area. You need to define what simplicity means because the category of devices in the dumb phone world is wide. With everything from classic feature phones to stripped down smartphones, a lack of clarity is going to yield complete confusion. When you ask for help to find a dumb phone or a dumbed down device, but you cannot name your non-negotiables, your lifestyle goals, or the apps that bring value to your life, the smartphone will remain the default. Because it already does everything without requiring decisions and lifestyle change. Ambiguity then becomes a tool that big corporations quietly use to keep you tethered to the device you already know. When you're unsure of what you want, the familiar will always win, even if it's not serving you. And as the saying goes, it is better the devil you know than the one you do not. So when you don't define your own priorities, the smartphone is more than happy to define them for you. My simple suggestion is to create a list of priorities. You can use pen and paper, and I have a guide in the description of this podcast from the low-tech course to help you in that. In this process, a list of priorities will allow you to understand whether you can get a dumbed-down device or a full dumb phone, depending on what you actually need for your daily life. Once you have the priorities clear, you are definitely ready to fight the next hidden force, which is the gravity of convenience. To be honest with you, this is probably the biggest force that keeps people tied to their smartphones. I read about it every single week, either on my email or on the dumb phone subreddit. People want to keep the comfort of their favorite apps, Spotify, email, communication apps like WhatsApp, Signal, but they still want to shed the addictive attention mining rectangle that big tech has perfected. It's not that you can't have it both ways, but adopting a simpler device will always require a bit of sacrifice. Some dumb phones will not have a polished MP3 player, or an advanced podcast app, or real-time traffic navigation, or seamless access to all of the things that the smartphone had. And that is part of the trade. A simpler life asks us to evaluate our satisfaction in our presence over the glossy efficiency that advertisers and tech companies have trained us to expect. So choosing inconvenience on purpose is not a downgrade. It is the beginning of rebuilding the skills that smartphones quietly eroded over time. Better orientation, deeper mindfulness, greater resilience often grow in the space where convenience used to live. And honestly, once you embrace that shift fully, you start to see how much was lost by having everything accessible at all times. My challenge for you maybe this weekend is to pick a phone. Literally any dumb phone would do. Use it for the weekend and adjust to it. Once you see that adjustment, you're going to start recognizing that convenience is not that great when you actually recover your time, your attention, and your presence with loved ones. After you have mastered setting convenience to a side, you will now encounter the next big giant, something I called boredomphobia. Boredomphobia is what I call the hidden force that makes stillness feel unsafe and keeps you reaching for the screen even when you want something different in your life. And years of constant stimulation have trained our brains to treat silence as a threat. The internet has done an amazing job of rewiring our reward pathways so deeply that any pause in activity feels uncomfortable. I know that I experienced this myself when I first switched to the offline life. Reading a book without checking my phone, taking a walk without music, or sitting on the porch with nothing to do felt almost impossible. And this reaction is not a personal flaw of ours. It is the predictable outcome of letting our smartphones set the rhythm of our days. When we don't have a plan for how to spend our time, the device is going to fill every gap. It's going to tell us what to watch, what to buy, what to consume. And the funny thing is that there's a massive flip side to accepting boredom, to not being afraid of it. Manoush Zomorodi, the author of the book Bored and Brilliant, describes it this way. Boredom is the gateway to mind wandering, which helps our brains create those new connections that can solve anything from planning dinner to a breakthrough in combating global warming. Now, that last one may be a little bit exaggerated, but what she's trying to say is that when we engage in mind wandering, we arrive at creative solutions more often than not. So my suggestion to you is to get a hold of your daily schedule. Spend some time planning your leisure, your work, your time with family. It will help you master boredom, and it will also signal to your brain when you're going to have those empty spaces and when everything is going to be filled with activities. Also, another tip is to find people and activities that don't require the internet. They will definitely engage your brain in the offline world and teach it that offline is always better. Our fourth reason is the social pressure to conform. Social pressure is powerful. It's actually one of the strongest forces keeping people glued to their smartphones. I see it constantly. Someone says that they want to be offline, but that they will feel outcasted because they don't have WhatsApp or Discord or Signal or whatever app their group uses. And honestly, this is where I think we need a reality check. If a friendship collapses because you're not on a specific app, that is not a friendship. That is someone who values the convenience you provide and not the person you are. Real friendship is built on shared experiences, presence, and actual care. And I'm not saying that online friendships do not exist. They do. Some of them are even meaningful. But there is a little bit of a difference between the offline and online, and we know that intuitively. The same patterns show up in other areas and relationships. People who are looking to date assume that the apps are the only way to meet someone, as if the entire world suddenly stopped producing relationships offline. It has not. The pressure to conform just makes it feel that way. Everybody's on the apps, so you're on the app. And this pattern is not only for relationships. It shows up in other areas, like at work. Everybody's checking their email, so you check their email. Everybody's using Slack, so you Slack all the time. It's a hidden force because you just want to conform. You want to do what others are doing. If your friends have iPhones, you also want iPhones because they have blue bubbles and you don't want to have green bubbles. But at the end of the day, what you really have to ask yourself is who you're doing this for. Are you doing it because you want a better life? Or are you doing it because you want cool points on the internet? I don't know which the answer is for you. But I hope the answer is because you want a better change in your life and you want to be more present, you want to be more available, and you want to break the dependency loop that the internet has upon us. And for those of you that say that blue bubbles and green bubbles are better, whatever, it doesn't really matter. As long as we can communicate, it doesn't matter what the color is. This leads us to our final reason. And this one's a little bit sensitive. It is a full dependency loop. I think I need to say it plainly. Some people have created a dependency so deep with the online world that they cannot imagine a life offline. It feels too boring, too inconvenient, too unsettling to step away from the endless stream of stimulation, information, and entertainment. And for a portion of those people, this is not a habit. It is a full-blown addiction. And I don't use those words lightly. It is a reality. Some people have created a codependency so entrenched with the internet that going offline sometimes triggers anxiety, restlessness, or even physical symptoms. I know that I experienced some of that myself when I was starting to move offline, but I know others that have it way, way deeper. I want to remark that this is not a moral failure. It's a sign that our system is not working as intended. It is a sign that our nervous system has been shaped by constant digital input, and anything less will not suffice. If this is where you find yourself, you need more than a new phone, a dumb phone, or whatever intervention. You need a complete reset in your life. You need support. You need to learn to live offline again. And it's definitely possible, but it's going to require intention, patience, and often will require help from others. It'll be extremely uncomfortable at first, but the discomfort is part of the healing process. I want to highly recommend that you explore this with friends or therapy. If you are not ready for those steps, maybe consider joining Internet Addicts Anonymous. This is going to be a big step in your life. It's not going to be easy, but you'll come out stronger because of your commitment to restoring your life. Those have been the 5 reasons I have observed over the past 7 years. If you identify with any of them, I invite you to take steps towards a simple life. You can send me an email as well if I can be helpful in any way, and I wish you good luck in your journey. It hasn't been easy, but every year it has gotten better. Thank you for listening to Moving Offline. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to send it to a friend that needs to hear it. See you next time.